on the beat.
Y'all ready to talk to the queen? Check me out. You can call me queen. What? Everybody pay attention because you're talking to me. Y'all ready to talk to the queen? Say that again. Talk your shit, queen. I know you lying. Sheesh. Everybody pay attention because you're talking to me. You can call me queen. Talk your shit, queen.
That's Dom on the beat.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Queen Talk. Oh, I got lipstick on my teeth. I saw that. Welcome in, y'all. We got some really good stuff for you guys today. I hope y'all ready. I'm your girl, Dom. Thanks for returning. Joining me today from my crew is Charlamagne. And of course, Tanya. What's up, my crew?
What's good?
Hey,
Y'all good? I'm so happy to see y'all.
y'all can hear me better with these headphones?
A whole lot better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, without all the background noise.
And I'm sorry, y'all, but I am hungry. I just got home. I had to ever take a shower, throw something on, something about to be eating.
But what's funny is that what you didn't know is that I could see y'all the whole time. So
You
I
saw me eating?
Yeah, you look, you took a spoon and did that hassa hassa hassa. I was like, man, I'm trying to eat before we get into this thing.
I am. I'm starving.
How y'all feeling?
I feel good.
I ain't got no complaints.
Okay. Mac showing a little skin tonight. Ooh. It's
You're
about to
childish.
go down. I'm
Grow
so
up,
jealous.
unlike your height.
Why? Why would I grow up? What's the funny in that?
You never know who you gonna get, huh?
This is true. All right. Y'all can tell I put on my lipstick in the dark. Huh? I cannot get this. Can't get it right. All
Your
right.
lipstick look nice. It look nice.
Oh, thank you. All right. Now, as you guys know, on last week, I promised that we would be talking about something very interesting on today. We are going to be talking about virginity and what it is exactly. And also, we're going to be talking to find out from you guys whether or not you are having this conversation with your children, right? The ones who are old enough to have these kind of talks. Are you explaining it to them? Is it something that you're like, nah, I'm not really ready for? Or is it something that you're trying to have with them, but you really don't know how? All of that is going to be covered on tonight. I got a special guest that's going to come through and help us to get all the facts about it. So y'all ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, before we get started, I always like to do an icebreaker question with you guys. Right? So, to get into it, I have two. So, one, since we're talking about virginity and whatnot, I want to know, all right, this is the adult side. I want to know on a scale of 1 to 100, okay, how important is sex to you?
Ladies first.
Uncomfortable.
Since it's just us, since you're the only gentleman on here, you go first.
Oh, what kind of... Oh, that's hilarious. Of course, y'all gonna set out to make me look like the horny nigga that I am. But sex is on a scale of 1 to 100. It's on the higher end, so I would say it's probably like 90.
Oh, 90? That's fair.
Yeah, it's about 90.
So you would say that sex is very important to you in a relationship?
Very important to me. Yeah, I mean, of course, as far as yes, I'm an affectionate person, but of course, like when it comes down to sharing with my partner, intimacy is definitely, high up on the list. Yeah.
Right. So does that mean that if you are not getting the sex that you're looking for, are you out of the relationship? Like, would that be a deal breaker for you?
I'm vocal in the situation. I am, hey, this is a
Hey,
problem.
I ain't getting none today.
Hey.
What is the problem?
And like, I come
Gig.
holler at you, like the bill collectors. Hey, you past due.
Not the bill collector.
You past due, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I need you to go
That's
ahead
due
and,
on your payment.
you know what I'm saying? I need you to handle that.
Before I turn you over to the collection agency.
Very
Come
much
get 'em.
so. Very vocal about it. So,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's me
that's
for
fair.
sure.
But I appreciate the fact that you say you're vocal about it, right? So you've been warned, right?
Exactly.
I need it. That's what you're saying, right?
Very much so.
What you say, Ty? How important is sex to you? You muted.
I forgot I was muted. I was about to mess with you and mess with him and say that's why he got that shirt on.
This distracting? Let me know so I go put on it.
A little bit, dog. I'm trying to read the hieroglyphics, like.
Cousin, you good. Cousin, you fine. You fine. You can leave your shirt off. You go get somebody tonight in this comment.
I'm not looking.
He's not looking right now.
I'm not looking.
That's fair. So, Daniel, what would you say? How important is sex to you on the scale of 1 to 100?
100.
Hey, hand claps, everybody.
It's very important.
All right. Oh, he got the poetry finger snaps. All
Mm.
right. So, sex is most important to you. So, would it be a deal breaker for you if you are not getting the sex that you require in a relationship?
Yeah, I'm gonna get pissed off. Just like a man get mad, women get mad too. I would be very upset. And then I'm not gonna say I'm gonna go somewhere else and find it, but I'm gonna
But
get
that's pretty much what's gonna happen.
I ain't saying that.
That's fair.
But yeah, that's you have to have that. I'm sorry.
You have to have it.
That have to be brought to the table too.
But what if the sex is whack though? But you like him? Are you staying? Like he's willing to give you the sex, but it's not sexting like it needs to.
Whack sex is weak communication.
What the heck? Please explain. All right, break that down.
Like I said, people coming up with like what they think that they know they can do in the sexual side, right? So, everybody come with their past experience. I know how to give head. I know how to, do these different maneuvers. I got these tricks. I got those kind of tricks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they refuse to learn their partner. So what they feel like they do best is not specialized for their partner. That's why the sex ends up being whack, because they don't know how to sexually arouse their partner in particular.
Because they probably just trying to please themselves.
Well, no, they could be setting out trying to please, but if you don't, if I say, yeah, I know how to.
Wait, why we hear ourselves?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
Look, I'm trying to share the post, but it came through loud. I'm sorry. So unprofessional. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's like, it's not necessarily that they're trying to please themselves. They could be trying to please the person, but like I said, it's just like a woman saying, "Oh well," one of them male saying, "I know how to give head. I'm a fool at giving head." He was like, "Yeah, but you don't give it how I like it." You know what I'm saying?
That's important. Now,
then it could be. Then it could, like I said, they could think they're doing such a great job, but if it's not geared to you, then that's what's going to equal the whack sex. So, like I said, bad communication in that will equal bad sex.
But what if they are actually trying to implement, like, for example, like people who can't dance, right? They will try to dance because they know you are a dancer. You like to get on the dance floor every time your number comes on, and they follow you to the dance floor. But instead of them being on the second and fourth beat, they are on 1 and 3.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Communication. If they have a leader, Same thing, you know. Hey, nobody asked you to go out here and Ricky Martin, but 2-step, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? 2-step, left, right. This is my rhythm. Get with my rhythm,
my God.
and this will work. You know
This
what
boy
I'm saying?
is saying it like, listen, one thing that I learned being a teacher is that people do not catch on to rhythm as you would think that they do.
Nope.
Okay? They really don't. And kids have it the worst because they don't know the first thing about rhythm. It's like either they got it or they don't. And the ones that don't, whoo, they usually come from a line of people who don't.
Right,
but they will try though.
But as a teacher, you learn how to specialize in the understanding of how that person's thinking to get them to say, "Oh, okay, I got it now."
Mm-hmm.
You want me to go right?
Oh,
and
I
left.
have patience with them, right?
but
but what I'm saying is, to my point, they will still try with your guidance, but it still may not be what you require. It still may not be good to you, even though you're guiding. So I'm saying, like, would you still be?
Yeah, I mean,
I would still keep them. I would still keep them.
I would too.
Yes, because long as I get at least one, I'm fine.
And look, I'm saying that, but it's like, man, I'm gonna get annoyed after a while. You know what I'm saying? There's only so much guiding I could do, but I wouldn't want to lose somebody who's great, right? But who sucks at sex, but who is trying.
And they might be thinking they're great, and I might be thinking I'm great, and I might not be great to them.
That too.
So, but
to each his own. So that's just like, you know, the whole beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to sex, I feel like it's the same thing. It's, you know, what I may not necessarily be what you specialize in, right? But I just wanted to know if that was like a deal breaker for you, for sure, or either of you, or would you be willing to like work towards it or keep up with it?
I'll be willing to work towards it, keep up with it, if I know that it's worth it.
All right, y'all. In the comments, make sure y'all let us know whether or not you would stay. All right. Also, I asked my crew if on a scale of 1 to 100, okay, how important is sex to you in a relationship? Make sure you guys drop that in the comments and let us know what you think about it. Now, before I bring on my special guest, I got one more question for you guys to kind of liven it up a little bit. Hear your perspective.
Wait, you never answered the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. For me, in a relationship, sex is most important. It's 100 for me. Like it's the top for me. Like I gotta have it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to be in a relationship where I have to, you know, teeter-totter with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, this is important to me. I'm a physical lover. Okay. It's how I love, you know, touching and, you know, all of that stuff like that. Sex is one side of the love, you know what I'm saying? Well, the physical love, like I said, one side of it. But it's important to me. Damn,
Joe Clark. You said, motherfucker said, so you say you want to kill yourself. Don't fuck around with it.
Do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but sex is most important to me. Like I feel like if I'm not getting sex in a relationship, one, I'm gonna feel like either you're not interested or you stepped out. Mm-hmm. So it's that important to me. Like if
you're getting it from somewhere.
Yeah.
I reserve my comments on that.
No, don't reserve no comments, man.
Comments,
Nah. That's
guess what? I got time today, baby.
Oh my God.
I was waiting for the other one to get on here too.
Nah, like I said,
he's coming.
I'm gonna choose to reserve my comments on that. Next question.
Okay.
Oh man, he's so boring. All right. Oh, Tanya, talked him up. Joining us is my nigga.
Oh, now you want to talk.
It's
Is
like
that
you
what
came
it
in
made
at
you?
the right time.
I'm still reserving my comment on that though.
Uh-oh. So, King Don, you're just joining us. I asked the crew on a scale of 1 to 100, how important is sex to you?
100. 100
100?
even. Yeah.
Straight, no
Hey,
chaser. No tax,
no
no cuts.
tears. Man, straight up. And then like, fuck when I end up be a lot of times where I probably don't just automatically be feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Especially like with my girl, like you know what I'm saying, I probably automatically don't just feel it, but just sitting there with you laying down, like it depending on how the mood is. Like I might turn over and won't stick that bitch in your back.
Get the fuck
Yeah.
I this dude here, man, always
Yeah, stick
come
it in his
through guns
pocket.
blazing.
I mean, stick it in her
Yeah.
pocket.
No, he said in the back.
In the
Oh,
back.
in her back.
Boy, her pocket. Oh Lord. Man, let me ask y'all this. This was my second question before we move on. All right. Would you guys be willing to date someone who isn't originally from this country? Like, would you be willing to date like that? Not necessarily out of your race, but out of the country.
Oh shit! As a person who's traveled the world, for sure,
I already did.
for sure,
Ah,
man. I'm telling you, you get outside this country and you start. Listen, I love my local domestic black queens, right?
oh
But
yeah.
but Ethiopian women, like women are different kind of beautiful. I'm not talking about what the world displays as Ethiopian. I'm talking about Egyptian women. Oh, they're a different kind of
Liberian girl.
they're a different kind of attractive. I'm telling you, they're a different kind of. But
What you
yeah,
say, Tanya? You say you already dated someone out of the country.
I do.
And
It was
did you
so I'm gonna just say this.
uh-oh.
It
He's like,
it
oh.
so I I did date somebody. I actually had a Nigerian, I had a Jamaican, I had somebody from God damn it, Trinidad.
Jeez,
And
what is you meeting these?
yeah.
let me
Hey,
find out to you.
excuse my incorrect grammar. Like,
She getting that passport stamp.
bruh,
Yeah.
she getting that bit stamped. You heard me? Like, everywhere she goes.
You the passport,
And
motherfucker.
listen. So one of them I'm still friends with to this day. Like we were close friends. One of them, I'm not gonna say how I met them. I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
But one
Tender.
one of them,
You really just
I'm gonna just say
said.
all three of them motherfuckers was crazy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh
Dating
my God.
outside the country for women is kind of like might be different for our men. Them motherfuckers are crazy.
Yeah. So
They are.
I dated someone who was Nigerian also, and let me tell you, after a while, I got tired of the language barrier because I got tired of saying "huh" every time he say something because that made me feel like I was deaf. You know, like those older people. I'm sorry, hearing impaired. Where you like, huh? Say it again. What you say? Oh man, that made me
Especially the
feel
Nigerian
stupid.
one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Now,
they talk so fast, and they are they speak very aggressively.
Yes.
So, and they just be running everything together. You like, say that again. You know, like it's different being right in front of his face. You know what I'm saying? I could kind of read his lips. But if I'm on the phone, listen, you don't know how many times I was like, hey, I'm about to go to bed. I'm gonna call you.
Well, see, I don't really like talking on the phone. I like to talk in person. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this though, and I want Dominique. I want you to tell me your thoughts on this. Like,
Okay.
so they can be nice looking, but when they start talking, they're kind of like a turn off for me. And not just people that's from like out the country, but sometimes people that just not from New Orleans too. I kind of,
You
that
don't
can be like a little.
how they talk?
Huh?
You say like people who outside of New Orleans.
Like like sometimes when you like meet other guys from other states too, sometimes they kind of be like they could look so good, and as soon as they talking, it's just like
Yo,
it'd be kind of like a turn off.
You know the ones that I don't like, that's out of state or just different. Not necessarily. It could be in Louisiana too. I do not like
they sound
the
so
country bumpkin talking guys. Like,
oh no,
yes.
What you?
Like,
that's an offensive
like,
terminology. You can't call nobody no country bumpkin. Like,
just
what are you
racist.
doing?
And listen, I don't know. It's because like we've been around, our men so long from like growing up here. But oh my God, I mean, they can look good. And as soon as they talk, it's like, oh. Except men that's from New York. I love the way they sound.
I don't like the way all of them talk either, but
I love the
ones that get me is the ones that sound like they just jumped off of a horse. Okay, like Billy Ray and Lil Ray running around there on that horse. Get them goddamn kids out that backyard with all that damn noise.
Listen,
you get your
and you talking about you don't understand when a foreign person say, I don't understand what the hell they be saying.
Yeah,
like, what?
Hey, I'm Miss Dom. You so pretty. Can I take y'all from some ice cream? Some ice cream. I don't want none of this.
But listen, I understand exactly what y'all talking about. Like living outside the country and then coming back and like hearing a New Orleans woman talk, that heavy ass alto voice.
Oh.
that shit is a turn on, no cap. You know what I'm saying?
and that's how it is for the men for us.
That it's really like that.
I be like, I need my man back. I need to go back home.
As soon as they hear us
talking, be like that too. I remember being like that for the storm.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Can't wait to come back now.
I know.
But they got to kill it with the lingo though. The only thing I don't like about New Orleans women, they conform to really being like a dude. Like don't call me son.
I hate that.
Don't call me son. Like that's not going. I don't let dudes call me son, but don't call me son.
I feel like women should not, and it's just my thoughts. And I know people might have tagged me. I don't care in the comments. But
no, we all on the same page with this one. I don't like it either.
I just hate that. And when I hear young girls call each other that, that's just like I don't like that. I don't.
You talking like the
worst.
son?
They be
son. When girls, when they son or all that.
No, listen, ain't nothing worse than a person who is much younger than me calling me sis. I'm like, girl, I don't know you. Who is your sis?
Look, I got a question though. I seen.
Yeah, you teasing now.
I'm teasing now.
You teasing now. Yeah,
Let me make y'all laugh. No cap. I went over to Raising Cane's just yesterday, and a little girl came to the window talking about, "Hey, friend, yeah, okay, I was coming, yeah." Like I turned and looked out the other side of my window. I thought she was talking to somebody on the other side. And when I realized she was talking to me, I felt crazy because I had a puzzled look on my face. But she was like, "Yeah, friend, okay, all right, bye." Oh, I like your nails, friend. Where you got them done? Okay.
Look, she turned into one of your little friends.
No, I was giving, true, but I was just like, number one, girl, why are you calling me friend? And she was like, friend, like with that little BR twang. I wasn't feeling it. I was like, oh, okay. All right. You had a question, King Don, and then we're going to bring up our special guest so we can get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation tonight. It is very interesting.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. I want to see that now.
You want to see that? You change your mind?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Because I was just about to start some shit. That's all.
Oh, well,
Tanya said she got time tonight, so start that shit.
I sure do.
All right.
You got what?
I got
time
tonight.
So before we get into a little family power, all right, I want to bring on my special guest, guys, Queen Talk Podcast, and my crew. I want you guys to give a big welcome to Nurse Shirley.
Whoa, now.
Yeah.
Hey,
y'all. Look, I'm
Charlene.
Topics.
Now, I want you to tell me what is your title so that I can say it correctly.
All
I know
right.
I called you nurse.
Yeah. So that's okay. We all make mistakes. So
That's
oh,
why I asked.
no, it's fine. You know, we found
We found.
nurse. I'm a nurse, family nurse practitioner. Also, forensic science investigator.
Oh,
I do sexual assault. So that's
Wait,
why.
hold on. It cut out. All we heard was I do, and then it went out. Say it one more time.
Oh, you can hear me. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I said I also specialize in forensic nursing, so I do medical examination for sexual assault victims.
Okay.
Okay.
Yay!
yeah,
This is
okay.
very interesting. Look, she came in uniform, fellas.
Okay.
How you like a lady in uniform?
Ow.
Ah!
Wow.
All
Oh,
right.
we love them
Now,
scrubs.
now she is gonna be here to make sure that she helps us to answer some questions specifically about what is virginity exactly. Can we begin there?
Yes. So basically, like I told Dominique, you know, originally my daughter, my 16-year-old, brought up the conversation like, "Oh, mom, you know, I've been lied to all my life. I had a sex ed class, and I was told that if the hymen has nothing to do with sexuality or being a virgin, and I'm looking like, oh, I never told you that. Like I never told you. That is correct. So, you know, they had me wondering like how many people are under that assumption that if, you know, your hymen is still intact, that means you're still a virgin, that you haven't been touched, or what does virginity mean to you specifically? So, you know, that, you know, kind of getting back on that subject, that does not mean that you are a virgin. And I grew up thinking it, like 38 years of my life, I've been thinking that that's what that meant, you know. And like I said, I had an incident where I was getting checked as a you know, a young adult, and my mom brought me to a doctor, like, check her, see if she's still a virgin. I'm like, wait, what? You know,
Oh, I remember them dead. Oh, they don't do that no more.
They sure
well,
don't.
you can't do it no more. You know, everything changed. You can't do it anymore. But look, back in the '90s, whew,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that you said it like that. I learned from a lot of private school females on this very thing of what you're talking about. Like, and it wasn't so much like big amongst the black community, but they used to tell me about like their white friends, and they used to be like, "Oh man, such and such believe that, hey, that's why they do anal sex early, they give oral early, they do all this,
Right.
but they don't do
They
vaginal
don't.
sex."
Yes.
And I was like,
yeah,
"What?" And
yeah,
it
Like
was like,
they have real adults like our age who still believe that. Like straight up will say, like, I have a friend who actually said that to me, like, I'm saving myself for marriage, right? But she would do other sexual acts like anal and oral, but to her, she was still a virgin. And I was like,
Damn.
okay.
yeah. And I think a lot of people is under that, you know, misconception that that means that you're a virgin if you're not having vaginal penetration. But
Mhm.
virginity has nothing to do with just vaginal intercourse. There's it's oral sex, anal sex, you know. So it's interesting, you know, to talk to people, you know, especially now, to know that people still, you know, think that.
Yeah.
Right.
That is very, very interesting. So I want to ask you guys this because we are definitely breaking the mold tonight about, having the virginity conversation and all having the overall sex talk period. I want to ask you guys, were you ever given like an actual sex talk about what it means to be sexually active, like how to protect yourself, or like, or did you have to figure it out on your own? I know we touched on it a little bit on one of the other podcasts, but I really want to know.
yeah. So for me personally, for as a father perspective, I've never had that. Mama just basically was like, she grabbed a whole bunch of, like, she came to me with a brown paper bag because, you know, of course, when she was working at the shop, she, you know, they would have those free condoms that was in front. She was like, look, you in high school now, son, wrap it up. And I'm like, yo, what? It was no instructional guide how to do nothing. It was just like,
it was just like, figure it out, but protect yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it was no, hey, you know, this is how you do it. Hey, when you put on the condom, make sure you pinch the tip. Make sure you roll it down this way. It was none of that, which I had to let the streets teach me how to do. But it was none of that.
Yeah.
Wow, you said a lot, but I'm gonna reserve my questions until I hear everybody else's perspective. What about you, Ty?
Yeah, I could kind of agree with Meg too. To me, I feel like the reason why some of us may not have known like full details on, you know, have more knowledge on sex is because that was a topic that really wasn't talked about in the house. You know, like parents really didn't want. They just was like, you know, growing up, stay from boys. You don't let the boys touch you and all this and that. Like they really didn't get into details and say, like, even not just with sex, like a lot of Black parents back then, they didn't even really talk to I'm gonna speak on girls because I'm not a male. They didn't really talk to you about even when it was time for you to have when you're about to have a cycle. Like they really didn't got conversations like that. And it's crazy because to this day, I run across so many young girls that don't even know nothing about that. Like, you know,
man, you want to hear a scary thing I had to encounter as a father with that particular thing that you said?
Yes.
Oh man, listen.
Look at all the parents just like had to adjust themselves. Like, here we go.
I'm talking about it. At the time, I think my daughter was maybe 14, 15, something like that. You know, she was like, Dad, I got a question for you. Mind you, I'm thinking all these. I'll just say when my daughter first got her cycle, she told me first. She always felt like she wanted to have those random kind of conversations with me, and I'm like, listen, I don't have that, you know. But she felt most comfortable. So one day she was like, Dad, I can ask you a question. I'm like, sure, go ahead. She was like, why, like, right before I have my cycle, I get, and I was like, what, horny? And she was like, she was like, yeah. I was like, oh shit.
Oh God.
But I was like, I had to explain to her, I'm like, baby, you're going through an ovulation period. Of course, I was like, I said, you think about it. I said, you heard the term, you know, when people deal with animals, right? They call them in heat. I said, your ovulation period for you is kind of like that same, you know, period, you know, in time, you know. So I was like,
you did better than me because I would have had all of that.
Listen, but like I said, it's a hard situation. But I was like, you know, I had to express to her that basically her eggs were asking to be fertilized during this time frame.
Yeah.
You know, which is like I say, it's scary. You know, as a father, you're like, God damn, why? But you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's one of those things I had to get, you know, kind of get educated on, and I'm sure you ladies will inform me on many more things in this process so I can explain to it. But yeah, I had to get educated real quick because I didn't want to be the parent like our parents were that just kind of freaked out at the questions and was like, "Don't worry about that. That's not how you do that." No, you know.
Why you asking that?
Speaking of that, let's go to the comments, y'all. Joining us, hey, Miss Ashley Nicole. She said, my mama was like, let me know when you're ready so I can put you on some pills.
That's
a typical thing.
Yeah, see, that's how it used to be too.
That's another thing, you know. And sort of, it's like they find an easy way out, sort of just explaining and telling you that. That's why you found so many young girls that became teen moms, or you know, young boys that became teen dads because they really wasn't taught. They wasn't, you know.
And then it's just that vulnerability too. Like our parents couldn't just be vulnerable and open up like that to us. Like, because it kind of it could go two ways. Like either as a child, I feel like that's the okay to go do that, or like, you know what I'm saying? I'll be curious. More, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
That's
Yep.
funny you
Cause
mentioned that
man,
in the comments. I was actually about to bring that on. Janique is joining us. Hey, Neek. She said parents
Yeah.
feel like if I talk about it, then they're gonna think I want them to do it. I think that's what you were
Yeah.
saying.
right.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
can y'all relate to that? So for one, let me ask you this: Are you or have you had a sex talk with your children? Or if you haven't, do you feel like you not saying anything is your way of making sure that you're not giving them the okay to just go out and try it? You want
Well,
to?
I know for me, I had that conversation with Karan, and I always include Cameron, even though he's younger than Karan. I started telling Karan that at an early age, and I tell him even more now since he's off in college.
Mhm.
Um, and I, kind of got into details. I couldn't really tell him too much from a male perspective because I don't know. So
Yeah.
I had referred him to somebody else when it came to that. I
Mhm.
only could tell him about young girls because I hate to say it, a lot of these little girls these days they don't have no guidance and they don't know.
Right.
Because he would
Right.
come home, Karan used to come home and he'll tell me stories like, and this was while he was in high school. Mama, some of the girls be smelling like crawfish. And I'm like, what?
Oh
So then I
my
have to like
God,
have a
that
yes,
is so embarrassing.
yes, that is, so I have to have these
Wow.
conversations, like, conversations with him. So I definitely talk to my kids because, like I said, just based off of my experience, I wanted to make sure that they didn't go through, what I went through.
Yes. Anybody else want to add to it before I put my 2 cents?
I mean, I have one, but
I,
Lean can go first, or whoever else, you know.
Okay.
Want to
I
chime
got. Go
in?
ahead, ladies first.
How we all say we 100%, sex is important, but when it comes to the children, that just it
Take
humbles.
the nearest exit.
Oh my God, like it
Yeah.
is, and I have a almost 18-year-old, and it's an uncomfortable conversation. Like it's
Yes.
very, very like even when stuff come on the radio, I'm like, no, this. She like, you don't
Yeah.
think about this already? Like it's just the thought of me thinking of my child. It's just it literally makes me sick. It literally makes me sick, and like even on like like I can never get comfortable with it just because I think it's so taboo. Like in our community growing up, like sex was not kind of like a topic.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
No.
Hey, you like I can remember when Circle Food Store was open. My mom used to buy like the nerve, like the little long nerve stick, and like buy me
Mm.
for Mother's Day. And she was like, "Oh, you're not a mother." She go, "You like oh, like okay, like literally, like she used to always buy me like treats, but we never talked about it until she found out I'm a virgin anymore, and it was just like public shaming. Like I got washed in front of my brothers, like your sister's having sex, and so it's always been crazy for me. Like,
Oh, so
Right.
yeah, that was more trauma.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
And that
Right.
probably made her really make me really don't have conversations and feel comfortable with your kids now. And
Yeah.
it's crazy because when you say that it makes you uncomfortable, to me, I think I was too comfortable with telling them. I felt like Karan was more like, huh? Why you asking me that? I'll just get straight to it.
Yeah, but see, that's a conversation that was, is, and I hate to say it like that, but it seems like it's much easier to have with boys.
No, it's not.
oh
But what I'm talking about, like having it with my daughter, like, so my situation worked out like this. For many of you guys know, but for the people in the world that know, my profession is IT, right? So what happened was my daughter was watching porn on her phone. End up getting to a site
Okay.
that basically hit her with spam.
mm,
So it was stuck on her phone. So of course what happened was I walked in the room, she's like eyeball crying. And I'm like, man, what's going on with you? Now, of course, as a parent, when your kid is crying and they don't want to explain what that is, your mind is racing a
Yeah.
thousand different ways or whatever like that. So I'm asking a bunch of different questions, like somebody touched you. What's the problem? Like, why you don't want
Right.
why you don't want to talk or
Probably
whatever
making
like
it
that?
worse. She probably
yeah,
got scared.
Nah, so she was just like, I got something on my phone and I'm scared to show you. So I'm like, oh shit, what's going on with your phone? So of course she handed me over her phone. I see it's I see as porn. So what I do is naturally I go in and I clear out her browser history, handle that situation. But I don't show her how I did it, of course. But I go do that, and then I come back and I talk to her about it. I say, hey, like, so you watching this? I was like, you curious about sex? And uncomfortably, she said yes. So I went to like explaining every single thing that came down with it. I'm talking about from how emotional standpoint that she wasn't, necessarily prepared for that. I said, let me tell you, people your age are not having sex. I said, so I'll give you guy perspective. I said, things that you're not ready for. I remember when other guys was having sex, right? And they found out the females that were, because majority of the females that they were trying to get with weren't giving it up, right? So they really were trying these dudes' girlfriends, right? Because those were women that were actually having sex. So they was like, well, I know somebody who is. Let me try, because maybe, of course, we all grew up in the neighborhoods. The terminology is different back then, but
you know who you can get it from, basically.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
So
to the rescue.
So I was like, yeah, man, like, yes, yeah, because I don't want to offend call any of these young ladies something that's totally offensive, But yeah, like I was like, these are things and factors that you're not prepared for. I was explaining all the STDs. I was explaining about what different discharges mean, this whole nine, and I was like, hey, you know what a condom is? And she was like, no. I said, well, I said, you know how to put on the condom? And she was like, no. I said, so you don't even know how to protect yourself first and foremost? I was like, yeah. I said, listen, man, you're not ready for sex. But right. I was like, because when this was happening, my daughter was 12.
That's how old my damn daughter.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my daughter was 12 when this was happening. So I was, I kind of went through the portion of explaining. I was like, there's a lot that comes with this deal, and I was like, I said, I understand why it was a, way to you. It's not even a way to marriage. It's way to you're responsible enough to know how to control that thing. Mm-hmm. Because that's what people don't realize, and I think all of us have experienced. Once you start, it is hard to stop.
Ain't no stop. Ain't no stopping.
It is hard to stop.
Once you get started, no. Once you pop, the front don't stop. Okay.
Yo, you gotta chill.
No free promos. All right, let me go to the comments. All right, Cora, hey, joining us today. She said that she's basically referring to having a conversation with her children. She said, I'm very open and make them comfortable to come to me with anything. Being a young mother, I made it my business to have an open door policy about whatever. And Ashley Nicole said, in reference to why parents don't talk to their children about it, is that she said that I think they don't talk about it because their parents never sat down and talked to them about it. Mm-hmm. They just don't know how. Now, I'm going to be transparent for a second, okay? Let me tell you what happens when you don't. And before I go on, Tanya, I sent you a private message.
I know. I looked at it. I'm working on it now.
All right. So not talking to your children about sex, guys, will leave them open to being taught by the streets or them trying to figure it out on their own. And you kind of leaving them open to make mistakes, okay? And sometimes those mistakes can result in STI or a child. Okay, there we go. That's much better. All right, and now my
look at that girl. I didn't even know what that was we were talking to.
I knew he was going.
Baby, I told you I got time today for y'all.
We had to fix your lighting over there, child. You
I don't feel like turning that light on because it be high.
We see you now. All right, so All right, my first sexual experience, guys. All right. I was dating. It's funny, all right, but it's not funny at the same time. So I was raised by my great aunts and also my grandmother. Okay, you were not allowed to have a conversation about sex, let alone your own body. Okay, and here I am. I'm in college. My first sexual experience, right? Me and this guy, we take it there. I had never had sex before, right?
Oh.
And I'm standing up. He pulls my panties down, right? And yo, the dude think that I have on 2 pair of panties because I had never ever grew myself. I was never taught to do that, right? So the
But
dude
they
ain't
had
play
2 pair of panties on.
He thought I had 2 pair of panties. That's how much.
He sound like he retarded.
I didn't.
Wait, what?
No, Jesus Christ.
So
That's
let me just make it plain, okay? So I had never ever shaved before, right?
Right.
So I had a full head of hair, okay? And here it is, my first sexual experience with this guy, and he think it's so much that he thinks I have on 2 pair of panties.
boy said break out
Okay.
the disco music, boy.
Girl,
It's old school, boy.
Girl,
Yo, she claiming she said that monkey
hold on. What movie that was when you brought? What movie that was when you put?
That was Madea when she said, "I don't know what you."
No, this wasn't Madea. This was an old movie when he put it down in buku bashes with the flying out. What that was?
Oh, that was a scary movie.
Scary movie.
Yes. So what I'm saying is now he was gentle about it, but basically what he said was in a funny way. He was like, "Man, make sure you clean up my workspace." I'm like, I had never knew that before. So here it is, me cleaning up the workspace, right? I take a razor like I would shave my legs with, right? And I shave. Now
straight to the bush,
man. Do you?
I know your shit was on fire.
Man, it was on fire. It was red. It was itchy, and I just knew that I had gotten an STD. I was so scared. I'm at the hospital, bawling my eyes out, like I just tried for the first time. Like I don't know what's wrong. Like this and this happened. All for them people to wait for me to get all the drama out to say, hey, your skin is just irritating, man. You can't use a razor. You have to use an electric razor, try a wax, different things like that. But even when it comes down to grooming, guys, I think that that's something that we should not forsake our children because you're saving them from a traumatic experience. Now, what if I didn't have a guy who is gentle to say, hey, this is what it should be. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a part of your hygiene, whatever.
That would have created some trauma too.
It would have been a very embarrassing situation for me.
Funny part about it is y'all don't understand how funny this is because
it's funny.
The person who taught me about grooming is on this damn podcast. Listen. Yes. I'm talking about because I used to walk around no shirt around the house, and she'd be like, "Boy, you got the hair on your stomach or hair up to thing. You got to shave that. You got to shave that." I was like,
"Yes." So
manscape.
So the thing was, no, you never knew why I was telling you that, right? But my trauma is what taught me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like I say, I was raised by my great aunts. Like I remember as a child using too much soap now and there, but I was afraid to tell them that I was itchy and burning because I had used too much soap trying to take a bath, right?
Especially that Dial soap back in the day, boy.
Man, let me tell you that Dial soap, that bacteria, antibacterial soap. Man, I had to went to town, and I was in tears, like I was crying. But
and that's the only kind of soap they used to use.
That's the only kind, that white color soap. That girl know what I'm talking about, okay? But I know that it's not as dramatic as I'm saying it because, like I said, I was raised by my great aunt, so these are the baby boomers.
Girl, the way they was, they would have had you not even dating the man. Shit,
they would, and that's true, right?
For real. Not trying to be funny, but I'm telling the truth.
I was one of them. I was one of them I grew up fast. Like I grew up fast, but like I ain't break my virginity until I was in middle school. People thought I was fucking way in elementary. You hear me? But I actually broke my virgin in the library.
What?
Yeah, I did, man.
You
I
right?
figured that would. I
Nobody
figured that
going
would be a
there.
story.
Nobody going there.
I caught that. I caught that. Did y'all even just say I
Yeah,
figured that would be a story? Man, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
that was
Put that on the
yeah.
shirt.
And then a broad look, she was. I ain't lying. It was a weird smell for me too, though, right? So like I lived around the corner from the library, so like I actually ran to my house, and I was in the shower using the extra amount of soap, like you know, trying to wash the shit off. Yeah, man.
Man, that's funny, but it's not funny at the same time. So it's funny you said middle school is where you broke your virginity, right? So you guys are saying that oh, hold on, let me tell you this in the comments. Ashley says not the quiet place.
Hey, gonna be quiet no damn more.
I know, like, don't you
Yeah.
shush me. I'm trying to work over here. Okay. We in deep conversation. So I know you were saying about, that people thought that you were experiencing elementary, right? I'm saying this to say that, I mean, my son is in middle school now, but in his elementary class, when he was in 5th grade, the questions he was asking me is because of what he heard the other kids talking about.
Right.
So these kids are 10 years old, 10, 11 years old, talking about this amongst each other. So
Yeah, I was at that age when I was humping, third and fourth grade and shit.
But go ahead.
Get a little bit.
Look
Go
at you
ahead.
remember the pot that say, hold on, look, I got a question. Look at sit back, you remember the putting the hole in your pocket? You don't know about
You know what the crazy part about it? Like,
what that mean? I'll tell
no,
me.
look. So I know exactly what he's talking about. That was like your jerking days. But just like you said, it's weird thing about it was like,
y'all not gonna just skate over that shit. Right. Come back.
Listen. No,
Yeah.
I'm not going away from it.
Okay.
The terminology he used before that was humping, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what like young boys do. As embarrassing as this is, y'all listen to it. I used to hump like couch cushions. Like really like on some dog and heat type shit. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker would do that, right? Weirdly so, I didn't know like what people's talk about like STIs and shit like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would do it, but of course I didn't know I was coming, if you will, right?
Oh my god.
Climaxing, should I say, right? I didn't know I was climaxing during this period, right? But apparently I hadn't did it, and like needless to say, my shit got stuck to my underwear.
No, I thought you was about to say you thought you broke it.
No, like because I hadn't let that dry, and, because like I said, I was humping, so I was like, in my underwear, I let that shit dry, and of course, like I said, now I got this weird feeling happening to my penis, so I had to go tell my mama about the situation.
Oh my god!
So I go to her, and my mama like, boy, what the fuck you doing? Like, you can't do that. That's how I learned what STIs was. How you have to go, urinate after having intercourse, like all of that stuff to keep you, away from,
STI.
STI. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I learned about the holding the pocket thing much later.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, what enlighten us.
Well, when I was in the fourth grade, like one of my homies introduced me to like putting a hole in your pocket, and like the girl sitting next to you in class, she jerking you off, and like nobody would know about it unless the ones that was in our circle.
Okay, I heard about that, but not in the pocket.
Those
I
in
thought
the
they
action.
just like I didn't see them
Y'all
do
was
that before,
doing
but
this
they
in
call it hole in the
class.
pocket. I heard about stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's why I think
yeah,
Man, I
man.
can't. I was the one. I was the kid who had glasses and shit. I was always in the front of the class. The kid with the electric sharpener. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Nigga,
Like
definitely had
I
to
was
work to yourself.
focused on the lesson. I'm serious. I was
But
that
wait,
nerd, so I have
what
never heard that before.
what you say, Lean?
look, this hole in the pocket got me all discombobulated. You in the front,
Okay.
they in the back with the hole in the pocket playing.
Yeah,
This kind of
man.
stuff just
I never knew they called
we
it that, but I
we was
used to
a
see
we was a
people do it.
family. We was a family. Like we had like our little crew of niggas that had their holes in their pocket, and we had our like we had the ones
Oh
that they already knew what it was.
man, this
I
is
was
hilarious.
on a just somebody brought up the fact like we talking about sex
Yeah.
and how children are exposed to things and what parents need to be aware of as well, like even being on the video games, like the because the internet is connected to those games. They on the game all day.
Right.
Right.
They got the headphones on, and I had someone like that they had somebody sending their child like porno, like 10-year-old, and it was like come to find out like an adult that was
Mm.
child playing like Fortnite and all those little games. So now I feel like the importance of like talking to the young children, especially like the gamers, because
Yeah.
they are like the children are definitely being exposed to sex, even if we want to accept the fact that we want to talk about it or not. Like we
Right.
need to talk about it and let them have a safe space to.
Yes.
So I
That's
don't.
important what she said though. The fact that she
Right.
said even
Hmm.
though we don't want to talk about it, it's being
They
talked
gon' they gonna
about.
see it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's on TV. It's on their YouTube. They on.
It's
yeah.
in look, it's
Hmm.
in the conversation of them, like at
Yep.
recess, they talking about it. They are talking
Cause
about
we
it.
Right.
gotta keep in mind too. Shit, we talked about it. We probably didn't know what we were talking
Right.
about, but we
And
talked about
they
it.
more advanced than what we
They
was
are.
when we was that
Yes.
age.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
feel
Yeah.
me?
Yes.
And I
So
could just imagine what I was doing. My
They
oldest
doing.
one, she 12. Like so and then just hearing you talk like and then knowing like I gotta deal with that. Like that's something I'm gonna
Yep.
have to go through.
Yeah,
You
you
feel
Yep.
me?
have.
you
I'm
have to.
cringing, but I'm cringing and shit, but I'm just really
Listen,
taking notes, man.
listen, man.
Yeah.
It's an inevitable. That's an inevitable thing that's going to happen. So
Yep.
Yeah,
You got to have the
the best thing
conversations.
about it is to get ahead of it. Make sure she's
man.
knowledgeable on the situation. But I want to ask Nurse Lean one question. I know you probably don't deal with pediatric side of the situation, but in your practice or in your time, how much do you deal with stuff like what we're explaining of young people running across STIs or
Oh, that's a good question.
dealing with these kind of
Right.
things because they're unaware.
Charlotte Mack, he gonna give you one before the podcast,
Yes,
though.
this is true.
So what's crazy? That's crazy that my phone blowing up. I deal with sexual diseases a lot, just on my private practice, like not so much in the settings, but I have ran across a lot of incidents where young children had HIV and not even, I'm talking about not even known, like parents or guardian bringing them in, like, oh, he's having these symptoms like cold, flu, this constant, stuff not going, they're what they think the flu is, like, oh, running nose or chills, and 15 diagnosed HIV.
Oh,
Damn.
Yeah, so it happens a lot, and like you said, like it's thoughts all with the whole in the pocket, their curiosity, like what we
yeah.
all like we all feel this way, regardless if we young adults, hitting puberty, we all get that.
Right.
I mean, because it's a natural part of
It's
life.
natural. Yeah.
Yes.
We're supposed to feel these ways so we can procreate. That's what it is. But I mean, I don't come across it a lot, but I have come across it, and it was the worst, I guess, news that a parent
The
can get.
worst. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Explain.
crazy.
Yeah,
Imagine
you bit
never
off more
having
than you
that.
can chew, huh, Mac?
Yeah, but
You
look.
didn't expect that when you asked that question.
No, I know that's the crazy part about it. I wanted to loop Nurse Lean there. Like we have her here,
Right.
definitely
Right.
probe her for
I
Right.
want to
as
hear
much
some
as
forensic stories.
what I'm saying, loop her in as much as possible. But the crazy part
Where's the
about it,
forensic files?
but I also wanted to mention like for young black males, a lot of times how like we don't realize how situations go as far as how we're promoted sex too, right? So we all have those fake uncles, right? You know, your parents, friends, all this, you know, things like that, you know,
Right.
and there's starting off at the age, you know, the questions start like this. Boy, you got a girlfriend? Boy, you ain't got no girlfriend, boy. You ain't out here messing with no women. Nobody don't want to talk to you. The next question is, boy, you out here fucking? Boy, you ain't got none of those. You ain't out here fucking. You ain't doing all this stuff. Like,
Right.
so the idea of a young male is that I need to be doing these things if I want to be respected by these certain
Yeah,
class
facts too. You're
of
right.
men. You know, and mind you, they're asking you these inappropriate questions at like 10, 11, 12,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know, years of age.
Mhm.
And you
But I
making
feel
it
like
seem like shit at 12, 13, I'm supposed to be out here doing
I feel
this?
like that's
And
a
that's
form
kind
of
of
I feel like that's a form of sexual abuse to young men
Oh, 100%.
because
I wouldn't say I
also
wouldn't say that.
yeah,
I
but
but
no,
like
think
it
about
just
it because it's the mentality. Like at the end of the day, they mind fucked you. Like they manipulated you to go out and
yeah,
do these
right.
acts
Yeah.
because they're the adult. Okay, they're supposed to know better. And
Yep.
they're supposed to be your protector. Just like I feel like some of those old uncles and stuff encourage the younger black boys to go out and get them an older woman just so they can have sex with her, just so they can have the experience. It's still to me a form of sexual abuse, man.
It
If
is.
you are a child,
100%.
a minor, you no, don't have no sexual conversations with me about nothing. I don't care if you wanna get out that bud and all that. No, don't do it.
Like I
Yeah.
say,
But in a sense too though, that be kind of like our little pep talk right there. Like, cause ain't too many, like we was talking about, ain't too many men gonna sit us down and say, man, look, let me tell you about the bears and the bees. You know, it ain't gonna go that far. It's gonna go just like that. Man, you ain't got no hoes, man. You don't know what a hole that are. Some shit like that. You don't
exactly.
know what a part of.
All
And
that.
sometimes the reason why they say it like this because they really didn't know. Nobody never told
Of
them.
course.
You
Right,
Of
know.
facts.
course.
That's for sure.
And to
I
them
totally get it.
they thinking that's like keeping it real, with them. No.
Yeah.
Okay. And let me throw another spin out question for you. How many and this of course, well, I don't want to say that. I'll just explain my part because I don't want to ask anybody this. If they don't want to share, they don't have to share. One thing that I realized also as a young black male, we don't recognize when we've been molested as a male, especially
Agree.
when it happens from a
That
female.
is true.
I
Agree.
was I had to realize as an adult in life that I was molested because I didn't know that. I used to have an older cousin that used to babysit, and the sister of that person used to have me fondling her or you know sucking her breast, the whole 9 yards. And I thought as a young male this was like advantage,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It was like shit, I get to mess with the older, mind you, not even looking at it, it's like shit, this is somebody that's kin of me. You know what I'm saying? Like weirdly so, but it was like, we positioned our mind to think it was an advantage. And did not realize, the reason why I was out here having sex at 12 years old because I was molested young enough. So I was craving that situation and not knowing. You know what I'm saying? So I
See,
don't
And
that's
know.
that's the
good to
thing
have.
we don't keep as much of a cap on the protection when it comes down to the boys that we do with the girls. With the
Right.
girls, we are definitely a lot more meticulous. We'll tell them don't sit on nobody's lap, don't
Yeah.
Right.
sit with your legs open, don't
Not
talk to
me.
this one, don't do that one. But yeah, because we have boys, you know what I'm saying?
Because I know.
Let her. Let her.
Goddamn,
Let
I
You
me.
gonna,
know.
you gonna
Stop,
wait to
stop,
put some
stop.
of your, you gonna hold on. You gonna wait to have something to say, and then you gonna put a mouthful of food in your mouth.
I'm sorry. Because when she
Girl, I'm
said
sick
this,
of your ass.
look, I can't do these headphones shit. I feel like I can't hear myself. No,
And then she
listen.
smacking though. That's the funny part.
Hold on.
What's
No,
that garlic
listen.
bread?
Girl, yeah. Listen.
How you knew?
I'ma just say
I can
this.
tell by the crunch, man.
And I don't give a damn who watching because you know, this what this for, right? No telling who we might be helping. Listening,
right? That's right.
I'm gonna tell you something. Damn, I forgot. What you said that made me say it. No, oh no, you were saying.
Before you got on
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
I made sure I had conversation with my boys because I know men that ain't got, you know, boys that got molested, and I know how it affected them. And sometimes when, you know, when males get molested like that, that's why they misuse, and that's just my opinion, or treat women the way they treat them.
That's true.
You know,
it could be.
And,
it's incorporated in there for sure.
Or another thing I noticed too, if they've been molested, they end up turning the other way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they fuck them up so bad, and they probably don't want to be that way, but they so messed up from their trauma because they never faced it or you got help for it. So well, they live in a lie, they live in bold life. That's why you probably have so many gay men out here that's really on the down low because they just messed up for probably something like that happened to them as a child. So I made sure I had that kind of baby. I don't care if it's a girl or boy. Anytime I had little cousins, I was telling them it didn't matter if I didn't have a daughter. They all need to know because it really starts with family. Some of that shit, you know, it starts with family first. Sometimes when people get molested, it be somebody that's close to them.
It's always inside the circle. You know what I'm saying? That's why there's no devastation,
that's
no
what I was
punishment,
about to say. Yeah.
or nothing like that, because we're trying to protect the other family members instead of our own damn children.
And then you know what else? And a lot of reason why a lot of children don't say nothing is because it goes back to how we were saying parents don't like to have certain conversations. That was something else you wouldn't allow to talk about either. You understand what I'm saying?
Look, that's what I wanted to touch on. Like when she made the statement, like most of the sexual contact that happens with young boys or young girls, usually family members, usually the uncles, usually the cousins, and most times, like, you know, because I always have that heart to heart with, you know, my gay friends or whatever. Like, you know what got you, you know, and living 95% of the time is because a male cousin had touched them when they were like 5. Usually the age is always 5 for some reason, which it can always happen before that, but usually. And then like you said about the family protecting the abuser, like they still invite them to the cookouts, the barbecues, they're still there. So you still have to see those people that touched you. And why I think, especially in my family, why I know sex was never the conversation because of history of sexual abuse. So I think that ties in into not talking about sex, and then that trickling down, you being afraid, and you not talking, you know. So it's kind of like figuring out where can we break this curse, you know, this cycle, like where can we break it and how can we do it. So that's kind of like what my insight was on just having those conversations, those difficult conversations, like even if you feel like your child's too young, because if they're exposed to the internet and other kids, like you said, they probably already
they're gonna talk about
I'm gonna be honest.
And you know what? I just want to interject for one. I just want to interject for 1 second. Like, I know that I have one of the youngest out of all of us, and he's going through puberty now. And a lot of his questions that he was asking was based on what the kids around him was talking about. But now he is at a middle school now, and still in that, you know, that stage, you know what I'm saying? But now he have his own questions. And, you know, right away, I didn't have the answers for him. Like, I really was like, why aren't you talking to your dad about it? You know what I'm saying? But then I checked myself, right? Because I was so like, oh my God, I don't want to say the wrong things. I don't, you know, and I was really like, in my mind, no, go talk to somebody else, not me. But then when I thought about it, like, he came to you because you're who he feels comfortable with. Do not make this an opportunity to let him down. So I answered his questions, and questions that I didn't know the answer to. I reached out to the school nurse and was like, do you have a video or something that I can look at with him to explain what's going on with him? Because I don't know. And the type of child that he is, if he have a question, he's going to ask it right then. But he doesn't know every question to ask, right? And he's not the talkative kind of kid. He's not personable in that regard. So my thing to him was, if you get a question and you don't feel comfortable asking me like to my face, send me a text message. I don't care if you're in the other room or not. The idea is to make sure that those questions that you have are answered, because I don't want you to ever go and try to figure this out on your own. Because kids your age, when they try to figure it out on their own, that's when they wind up with babies, just like you guys.
In the streets or anything.
Exactly. And, and then their parents are trying to pick up the pieces after they have, tried to figure it out. And in some cases, they're too far gone. But that was my advice to him. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I was scared. I really was like, man, I know I do not have to have no sex talk at 10 years old.
Right.
And to be honest, I really think the way the world is today, ain't no such thing as too young. Shit, because they 2 years old. If they could be on YouTube and all that now, you should be teaching them now.
Yeah.
And at least something, not that in depth, but like they should be knowing something.
I have another question for Nurse Lee.
Wait, hold on one second before you go to the question. Ashley said if they're watching any Tyler Perry movie, they will see it. This is true. And Tyler Perry have a contract with the men in his where they have to be oiled and like all in certain scenes. Like actually, a few actors actually said that be in their contract that they have to.
And why do you want them to do that?
Man, because sex sells.
What kind of shit that is?
Right.
You know what? Speaking of Tyler Perry.
Wait. Mac had a question though before you.
No, so I'll say dealing with, your other, like say your forensic side of dealing with kids who or dealing with people in general who, have gone through these traumatic events. What are some behavior changes that you've seen that may be indicators that somebody may have been a part of these kind of situations?
Inappropriately touched, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's hard because that goes into like the child's personality, like mental health.
I got you.
Basically like looking at cues of like how the person interact around other people. I think what we as Black people, we will, man, go hug such and such, go give a hug, go give such and such a hug. And, the child, like, no, kind of stopping, getting out the habit of forcing our kids to touch other people when they don't want to, hug and touch. But
that's fair.
But that's different.
I can admit that I do that too because that's how I was raised. Like,
we was like that. You had to hug your uncles and you had to hug your uncles and give them a kiss on the cheek and all that. That's how we was growing up too.
Yeah. But
what broke the cycle with me with that was my oldest son. Like Drake, COVID for one thing, he didn't want to give hugs. Like he was very vocal about that. But once COVID hit, like he don't even want to give you a fist bump. Like that boy hit you with one of these and be like, all right, now move along. Like he does not want to touch.
My daughter was the same way, and I explained to her how tradition worked, but then I also gave her the generic. I was like, listen, you don't have to greet everybody individually, but you have to speak to everybody. So I said, this is what you do. I said, you'll see me do it when it come down into entering the house. Hey, you gather everybody's attention. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? Happy holidays, whatever. I said, that way you spoke to everybody. I said, now, if you have a problem with somebody wanting individual greetings, then you direct that to me, and I'll handle it from there. But for sure, I said, you just generally speak to everybody. You show that respect that way, but you don't have to go to everybody individually and do that personal greeting kind of situation, because you do see them, kids, they're like, nah, and they looking at us.
But that's what we were made to do.
Yeah, we were,
especially we didn't have no choice. Yeah,
and
especially on your desk.
Yeah, we was
let me reiterate like kind of what Mac was asking. Like, it's a hard thing to do, because when you expect someone, if they've been through a traumatic event, to be angry. But sometimes the person could be quiet, you know what I'm saying? So some people can look like, well, they ain't reacting like somebody who was assaulted. They're not acting. So you can't like pinpoint. That's why I'm saying like the behavioral response to stuff, the emotional response, it varies. and you literally, I think the only thing you can probably notice if there's like a dramatic, if you have a talkative child and is just totally withdrawn, and you may pick up some stuff like, well, she's normally talkative or he's normally talkative, because sexual assault happens in boys too. And the last thing I want to say, because I know we were talking about virginity, just to know that the hymen does not determine virginity, because it can happen from horseback riding, climbing. If you have a child that's, active in sports, they can tear the hymen, and that doesn't, it's not a definitive measure of virginity. So, because some people do fingering. Let's be honest. Some that's not, penal penetration, but some children let, people stick their fingers in, put their fingers in a vagina, or they can explore themselves, and they can tear the hymen or use tampons. So that was just something I want to make sure I say before we got off here, because that was like the conversation.
Wow, using tampons can do it too?
Because the hymen is, is in the this is the entrance of the vagina, because we call the whole, mine's pubes, we call the whole vulva of vagina, but that's not the vagina. That is true. The canal is the canal vagina. So they have there's like a thin membrane, like, which is the hymen. It's just like a piece of tissue that's across the entrance of the vagina. So anything that goes inside, I mean, you can have a penis that's not, a person that's not well endowed, and they have sex penetration, and it does nothing to the hymen. The hymen still stays intact. So it's a lot of factors.
Damn, I should have had one of those then. When
a little wee, because everybody doesn't bleed, because it's like, oh, you didn't bleed. Like, I didn't bleed. That means I'm still a virgin. Like, that doesn't.
That means I'm still a virgin then.
You know what? Funny part about that is somebody challenged me to find out about what virginity meant, and they were questioning things in the Bible sense, right? So I remember figuring it out like back then, and really finding out virginity just meant that you were not married.
Exactly. It's just like a title, like being like a doctor. A doctor is a title that's because someone has a doctorate degree. Like, it could be, you could be a doctor in any area if they offer a doctoral degree. Right. So a virginity is a state. Like, if you look it up, like being pure, how they used to have those ceremonies, like with the rings, the virginity rings.
Sisters of Charity and all of that.
Yeah. And the whole time they doing the little virginity ceremonies, and them girls getting head and
getting fingered and everything.
Oral sex and anal sex, because the whole time they were taught that so now
what helped me to wait, because I mean I was in college my first time, like I was 19. But what helped me to wait is that I did have a family member who I went to and was like, look, this is what I want to do. Okay. Like, I've been waiting this long, blah, blah, blah. And like the family member, this was when I was in high school, and the family member was like, I could demand that you don't, but instead I'm going to ask you to wait. And the fact that they said, I'm going to ask you, right? It kind of made me feel like they left it up to me. Like, it's my choice. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until then that I was like, oh, I don't have to do this now. Like, it's not, where if I don't do it, then I'm not this or that. Like, it's okay if I wait. Or more or less, my parents are actually giving me this choice, or my family is giving me the choice to do it or not. And the fact that they actually gave it to me in those terms, then that made me feel like, oh, shoot.
You have control. You have control.
Like, I was in control. That's how.
I told Krewe he better not have no sex till he graduates from college.
Man, that boy is in college. You might as well get him a box of condoms and send it out there wherever he is. Because let me tell you, at Southern University, okay, it was going down in them dorm rooms. And it wasn't even co-ed. Like, you sneaking in and out the other.
I wasn't even going to Southern, and I was back there.
And that part too, because they definitely used to have people on campus like just there, like waiting for their opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So do not set him up to fail.
I told him he better not have no sex.
Oh,
Look
you
at my
think
mama.
you
Look
in
at
control?
say Mac. Say
You think
Mac.
you
Look
in
at
control?
my mama did the same thing your mama did, right? A bag of condoms, and like I was getting them bitches on a regular, right?
I
But
had
Mm-hmm.
look at
protection.
my mama tell me the same thing. No, you better not be having sex and all that, you know. Still ain't never gave me the pep talk. But by this time I was already fucking.
Right. That that's a
Yeah,
that
you
was the
better look
weird
out.
part.
No,
Y'all,
Tanya, I'm saying like how okay. Have
listen,
you
listen. I don't know if he doing it now, but I can't see how he was doing it in high school because he always was at basketball practice.
oh
You
they
know
were
why you
playing
ain't gonna
away.
never see
They
it
You
were
though?
damn
Look, I'm gonna
playing
right.
tell you.
away.
Understood.
What the
Okay.
Look,
heck?
I'm gonna
He
tell
just
you
hiding
why you
from
ain't gonna
you.
never see it though. He probably
Wait,
got a yeah, that's what he doing. You hear me? I'm talking about he just hiding from you. You ain't gonna never notice it though because you just got it in your mind. He better not be doing that. He ain't gonna
Yeah.
do it because I told him he better not do
Yeah, do
So
it.
you're not looking for the signs that
it.
he
I
is.
Right.
no no
Yeah.
no no no.
You ain't looking for the holes
Listen,
in the
Always. Let me
no,
tell you
pocket.
I
something.
was looking for the signs.
Right.
No, wait,
Let me tell.
Wait,
listen.
wait, Tanya.
I was
Tanya,
checking.
Shirley said you ain't looking for them holes in his pocket.
That's right.
No, look at
Yeah, see,
Charlene. I wasn't
you ain't
looking for
looking
the
for them
holes.
all.
I was looking for the stands, and I was looking for the stands. I was looking for the holes. I was looking for them
but
stands.
the stains could be a wet dream though.
Ah, you ain't have no wet dream.
No, say
Exactly.
the stains was on somebody else. That's what it was at.
That
Oh,
No, look,
oh man,
oh
the
wasn't it?
But
thought, the
uh-oh.
thought.
but
I know, right?
the crazy part about it, as somebody who plays sports, you talking
Man,
about
them girls
always
be
there.
out
Think
there
about it.
waiting.
No, listen, look, no, look. Think about this. You found time, like I said, the world was nowhere near like what it's like now, and you found time to
Mhm.
sneak and do whatever it is that you want to do.
Right.
Always being in the party playing sports, there's a female sport that's associated with everything that
Mm.
you do. And guess what? They be wilding.
Talking about, Ashley said if you boys did it in the library, the choir base, he can do it in practice.
Ashley, Ashley, I need for you to get off of here.
Right. That's the
That's
That's facts
dangerous.
realization.
though.
That's the realization of it. It's
No,
like,
It
for real
is.
Yeah,
though.
though.
It
You
is.
know what? I ain't gonna lie though, but for real talk though, I used to take
Shit,
them.
nigga was getting look at nigga was fucking under the bleachers in the gym. When I was
That's
playing
it.
No,
basketball.
they bleachers don't do that, so he couldn't get under there.
See, look at you ain't gonna never see it because you
They
don't
bleachers
want to.
don't
You
be
in
bleaching.
denial.
Changing
You in
Yeah,
No,
denial.
denial.
You ain't
listen.
gonna see it.
No, listen. I'm not in denial. If he
Kendrick
was getting
Lamar.
it,
Mhm.
if he was getting him some, all I get him the tools. I told him what to do. I mean, that's all on you.
let me tell you something.
But wait, let
Only
me
thing
ask
that
you
probably
this.
worked for us, he probably was able to control his behavior change. And
Yes,
if he was
because
able to
they
control
behavior
that,
do change.
Well,
you
his
would
behavior
not
was
know it.
still the same.
Yeah,
That's
know what I'm
my
saying? If he was able to control that, then he was good. Because let me tell you something. Only the no. I'm not saying behavior. I didn't really have a behavior change, but when it was time for me, like when I got a vehicle,
Oh, that was
shit.
now.
it.
You know what? Hold on, you
Metal
on
to
to
the
something else?
metal.
You on to something else? Cause listen, right up them last days, right up until he was about to leave to go off to college, and he
Oh
used to be
yeah,
he used to be dropping me off at work. One day he he can't pick me up, and
it
my
didn't
seat
happen.
was down. No, I said, "What took you so long to come get me?" Oh, I went to go wash the car. And
Mhm.
anybody know me know I
Oh, he
always say
washed that car
He
right.
I
was
said,
that car.
yeah.
Got with all the evidence.
All
And look,
Man, hurry
no,
up, man. My mama coming. Man.
he
You gotta.
he
You
have no
probably
shirt
sprayed that
on
bitch and
either.
everything. Like, tss, tss, tss.
I said, you ain't washed the car, and you don't got no shirt on. I said, what the hell you was doing here, getting you some?
But that's what I'm saying. You got to
What if he would
realize our
say yeah
children are
though?
different. Our
They
children are
different.
different people around us, and they different
Then
people around
that's
their
Yes,
true.
friends
facts,
and their
That is
peers.
facts.
true. That is
Hmm.
so true. Oh my god. All right, y'all. Let me go to the comments. All right. Says if you went to Bell, you did it on a 4th floor in building C. What?
Ashley,
Let's
get off of
find
here.
out. Hey, look, see, Ash, I got a question. Let's find out, man.
Man, this girl then gave the school name, the floor, and
the floor,
the
the
building.
building.
Look, if you doing that, it was green at the portables, boy.
Yeah,
Green
that
at
was
the
wild.
portables. Oh
At the
my
portable.
God.
Oh.
Listen,
Man,
listen.
I'm glad I was the nerdy kid because some of the stuff y'all telling me, I'm dead.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna say I was no nerd, but I was too scared to do shit like that in public.
Yeah, I was scared.
I'm sorry.
Well, I
Yeah,
was
boy, we had
freaking
time, boy. I had some.
You were too scared to
I
do
got
that
some
in public,
stories for your ass.
but you was playing catch, get a little bit. That was all public, my
Listen.
girl. That's all public. What are you talking about? Stop the
listen.
cat.
That was two different times. Now I was young and I didn't know what I was doing, but then as I got older, I was like, I'm not.
You still don't know what you're doing today. What are you talking about?
So let me ask you this.
I ain't doing shit right now. Shit, I changed my life around. I ain't doing nothing else for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That's why you act like that. That's why you act like that. I see it.
I told you I had time today. Now,
Listen, look, that's the bullshit dudes got to deal with. You got multiple kids, but you celibate now. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. Yeah.
I'm about to deal with this bullshit.
Be lying
So,
y'all,
before we go, all right, I got a question for the guys. Now, we are talking about sex, the virginity side, the cleanliness of it all, the what you don't know opposed to what you do know about it. Now, there were studies to show, fellas, that there have been women to actually go on record to say that the reason why they refuse sex with their man is because their man does not clean himself properly, meaning his peen and his butt cheeks. They do not, they actually went on record saying this, they do not like to have sex nor go down on their man.
Okay.
Is there some truth to that, fellas?
Especially if they're not circumcised.
Is that what?
You say so? Is there some truth to it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'll explain two sides of it. As far as just like I said, I grew up with them same aunties that y'all had, and personally, I was raised, hey, pull that foreskin, pull your foreskin back, clean this, do this. Like it was embedded in my head, for that for those situations, especially after going through my humping stage at a younger age. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds funny, doesn't it? It is. I was trying to be mature, but the fact that you laughed, I realized I was not by myself. I'm sorry.
But that was a real thing. Like so, experiencing those things at an early age definitely made it so that I stayed on top of my hygiene, heavy, because like I said, that was one of those things that was preached to me. However, like I told y'all, I played ball. Some of these niggas stink. You hear me?
Quite frankly.
Man, I'm talking about, and then like once you experience it day after day, like okay, cool, we just had practice, some people sweat heavier than others, or what have you. But then the next day, boy, you still stink. Like
so you smell like
yesterday. School now.
Yeah, we had
school. We ain't even that practice.
So, like, say, I could understand. Like I said, I could imagine there's some truth to that, as far as that. But I will say the praise that I get on hygiene is another indicator that there is some truth to what they're saying on that. Yeah, I definitely get praise on hygiene. So,
and what I recently just heard, like, it was like after like I say if I just took a shower, I took my shower for that day. I got I'm already situated for as hygiene, but later on I might end up having to go take a shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean I ain't trying to hold back like I'm talking, right?
Right.
So like just say like I just go take a shit like and like if you just wipe like with basic toilet tissue. and then try to have sex afterwards. You know, this is what I heard though. This is what I seen a video actually. Like a woman was talking about this. Yeah, man. And you
Yeah.
know, fuck, like she was just saying, like, you know, how men are coming in the room trying to get head, or you know, trying to have sex, and the smell will still be lingering, or you probably still got skin marks, you know, shit like that,
You got
right?
dingleberries.
So it do,
Yeah.
yeah, right. You know, so like it do have some truth to it, I guess, but it started making me like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
More
gotta tighten up in that department and shit.
right.
Yeah.
So that goes back to what we mentioned before about people not necessarily talking to young girls about cleaning themselves. It's obvious that nobody's talking
Right.
to the young boys about cleaning themselves either. Because I know a nurse, like I have a nurse friend, she's an older lady, and her sister actually was married, and she asked my nurse friend, who was married at the time, husband, to talk to her man because the stench was so bad. And she actually used the term, he has dick cheese.
Oh.
Listen, when I heard that, I felt out. The maturity is out the window. What is dick cheese? Okay. The only thing I could think about, like the way she described it, she said that basically when all the sweat and stuff had built up under his foreskin, but he had never
It's
actually
never
pulled
clean.
the skin back to clean it.
Oh, he wasn't
So
circumcised.
Yeah.
yeah, but still he wasn't cleaning himself, and she said that basically it had curdled up like cottage cheese, and she called it dick cheese.
That's
And
a
that's what she
thing.
said. Man, listen.
Yeah,
The fact
it
that
is.
she
And
said
people,
it,
That's a
yes,
lot of bacteria and stuff that's being built
well,
up.
it's a lot of dirt.
Yeah,
a lot
not
of
that
dirt,
too.
a
Yeah,
lot of sweat, a lot of
yeah.
just
Yeah.
And,
if he's having sex and not cleaning it, it's that
and
the
she
bacteria from her, from
is
him, and it's just
exactly.
there. Yeah.
And she probably be having
Now
all
that
kind of
could
yeast,
cause
wondering why.
bacteria, right?
Oh,
Yes, they
definitely,
can. And she probably be
definitely.
wondering why she getting yeast infections and stuff, and it's probably because he ain't clean down there.
And
But
bacteria
sometimes you may not,
vaginosis.
I was
Yeah.
about to say BV, but also sometimes that could throw off your pH before you
Oh,
even get.
definitely,
Oh no,
definitely,
yeah.
Yeah, and it's
definitely.
like that's how you know, man. The yoni
That's
always
crazy.
let you know.
That's what I
Yeah,
Look, I'm just thinking
know.
about the smell right now. It's just
yeah.
like, oh my god.
Oh man, if you can see like to the point where you're calling it dick cheese, I
Big
don't
cheese.
even want to
Just
imagine
imagine how
the
much
And
smell.
you
buildup
know,
it is.
I'm not
Yeah.
even gonna lie. Like I don't even want to date a man that's not circumcised because back then that shit was free. You should not. Your mama should have made sure you got circumcised. Like for real. Like
She don't want that turtle, huh? She don't want
like
that
now you
turtle.
gotta pay for it.
That's it.
Yeah, like now you gotta pay for that because I know when I had Cameron,
Shit, yeah. Now you have to
you
pay
gotta.
for it.
When I had Quran, it was free, but when I had Cameron, it was like depending on your doctor, you had to pay for that. Like I
You
paid
have to pay for
150.
it.
And like I'm like a grown man, you walking around, you not you if you over 40 and not circumcised, that's a shame because that shit was free.
Man, that's too old. You over 15 and you ain't circumcised in my eyes.
See,
Yeah,
I
You
think
back
they
then.
think about the pain,
No, but I'm
like
talking
right
about
now,
Yeah.
like having
but
to,
look,
yeah.
Diane, I'm talking about back then because you know it was free. You
It
didn't
was
have
free.
no reason
Right.
not to have it. Now they
Right.
charge you. So
Now
some
they
people
charging.
can't probably afford it because I know some
Because
moms
now
they say they don't.
it's
Yeah.
cosmetic. They say it's
Yeah,
cosmetic
Yes.
surgery now.
it's an
And
elective
and
surgery, so
insurance
it's
don't
not
cover it and stuff.
necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But my thing is, that's why I'm like, they saying it's not necessary. It is necessary because they're not gonna know how to properly clean it.
Well, that's
Right.
the thing is that I think that is necessary for I guess women to not
For
talk
us,
bad
yeah,
about you
yeah, right.
because
But
but otherwise I don't see where it's a big
yeah,
deal.
but
Like
yeah, medically,
medically,
it's
no.
not detriment. Yeah, it's not
No, I think they're just trying to find another way to
yes.
make money.
Cosmetically, yes, but not medically,
Yeah,
no.
I think it's another way for them to try to just make money off us. That's all.
But I mean, hey, I ride the wave. I'm just saying, like, don't nobody want they babies be talking.
Well, for y'all girls out there that's looking and have daughters, my boys are circumcised. Okay.
Don't tell them that.
How you gonna tell a man not that he better not be fucking, but you
yeah,
gonna take
right. But see,
you
But
gonna
he
give the women access to it?
Karan is gonna
my
kill me
son
when
ain't
Yeah.
he
gonna tell him
watches
that.
this episode.
Correct, who be watching
The,
it?
I know. Look, my boys be
Kr-
watching it too, y'all. They always go back after we watch it, but the only one I would not allow them
He
to watch
probably out
most
here
of
right
it is
now.
Talk After Dark. Yeah.
We
Crazy
like,
part.
Look, she said,
Crazy.
yeah, my son ain't having sex, but he ain't got no turtleneck. Huh?
He ain't got no
Thank you.
turtleneck.
Funny part
Look,
about
them girls
that,
gonna be looking
it's
for
not even.
Mariah ass in a daylight with a flashlight. Like, what
It
he
don't
at?
even. It don't even be the fact that it be the turtlenecks. Like some men have extra foreskin. It's not even. They could be circumcised, but after the healing process go back, they still develop extra foreskin. That's a real thing.
I was about to say something so out of line. Don't worry about it.
no, say
No,
it.
girl, that's what we here for.
You gotta
That's what
say
we
it.
here
You know, I be having
for.
a smart look. I was like, how stuff work. They grow extra foreskin, but not extra length. But okay.
Strange.
Um,
No. This is something I had to find out later. I knew nothing about this growing up. Was apparently men get an erection differently based on how much they're interested in you. Something that I
I heard that
was.
before. I heard that before.
Is there truth to that, nurse?
I heard that before.
Nurse practitioner.
It's out of my
Oh, that's
But listen, I feel
I
like
He
think
trying to
it's
hold back.
me.
but Mac, I feel like women probably like that too though. Like,
I mean,
you
yeah,
know,
like
yeah.
women,
we
like
definitely.
the
We
moisture from a
definitely.
woman is definitely
We definitely.
Cause
like is
cause
different
if you don't turn me
compared.
on, I could make my shit don't get wet. It would
Oh
stay
yeah.
dry.
Oh, we
Yeah, of
definitely
course,
express
yeah.
ourselves. Yeah.
This
Yup.
ain't listen. This ain't a battle. I wasn't trying.
Right, you see that? Damn,
I wasn't
dog.
trying to do all that. She was just like,
City
well,
girls up.
if your dick don't get longer,
Let me see.
my
You
shit
know,
No,
gonna
I'm
be
hold
seven.
on. Wait,
wide.
no, 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 no. Let
Wait
me
a
correct
minute. I
you.
wasn't trying to
That's
Let me
compare.
correct you.
typical though. That's typical.
I never say no,
Right.
cause I'm gonna be honest. I'm not one of them women that be like, oh, I gotta have a long one. If he's small and can work it, I'm fine with it, baby. I'm just saying, if it's boring and I just don't, I'm not feeling it. I would fucking get. You could be pumping and it be good to you. I'm gonna fuck yeah, it's gonna be dry. I could turn
Ain't
that
good to
water off.
nobody if you dry. Ain't good to
Hey,
nobody if you dry.
Exactly.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what I'm
Ain't
trying
good
to
to
tell
know.
you.
Which
Exactly. I know how to turn the water off.
hey, your
listen,
coochie's
which
smelling
goes
like
back to
balloons. Your
first.
ass, then let him just brush burn your ass to death.
No, I'm not
Listen,
doing
which
that.
Right.
No, that's
No,
me.
which
thanks.
goes
No.
back to like first sexual experiences, right? I didn't know how to turn a woman on
Yeah. A
initially.
lot
You
of
know,
men.
when I was
Yeah.
Yeah,
when I was that young. You
a
know what I'm
lot of men
saying?
still
A
struggle with
lot of
that.
men. A
Yeah,
lot of
Still.
men.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
because
they will
you're
swear
not.
they know what they're doing. It's just like, man, every
Yeah,
But
woman
guess
is not
what?
the same.
Guess what?
When I
Men
just
wasn't
teach
just
you what
like
I
that
like.
either. Men wasn't just like that either. Women didn't know how to turn. You know, we was young. We didn't know how to turn a man on either. So we just,
yeah.
get all on y'all. Cause I know I was like that.
Yeah,
Shit,
but
I
I
thought.
think the difference is that we're not arrogant with it. Like, yeah, I know what
Well,
I'm
yeah, I still
doing.
got
Blah blah
me.
blah.
Yeah, right. I
Yeah,
still hit.
Right.
men will do that to us though.
No, they have some men
Yeah,
that really will try to play on you because you don't know. They have men that be doing that, but you know.
yeah.
Man. So before we roll out, guys, because we went over time. This
Girl, we way
conversation was
over time.
we
It was
did.
good. It
We
was
go
good.
overtime every week now, so that means it's good. And we kept our viewers, so that means that they think it's good too. Shout out to everybody who is watching. Woohoo!
What a drum.
See,
What a
I
drum
like
roll. What
nurse
a
too.
drum
Look
roll.
at next time we have nurse back on, man. I think she gonna open up a little bit more, man.
Uh-huh.
Oh
She
yeah.
knows some
Yeah.
Yay! We
things.
definitely
Yeah,
do.
I
Bring the
mean, yeah, because she
forensic
was.
files with it too.
Yeah,
Oh my
well,
God, him and that
look,
forensic.
the
You know.
amazing
You
thing
know.
about it, she gonna learn. It's hard to navigate with waiting your turn to speak on this. You got to jump in this
You
joint.
gotta hop in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
So there.
right.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's why I kept trying
Look,
to.
like double
Hey,
dutch.
loop
Like
back. Hey, Nurse Lean, I got a question for you.
Like I said,
hold on, double dutch. Oh shit. Let me go.
that's
yeah,
fair. All right, and everybody knows who has always been with us from point A to point B. All right, you guys know that we always close out the show with
A song.
a song association. And
Ooh, I get to
because
do
we have our
it.
medical specialist on, we definitely got to get you involved in it. So you're gonna go first. All right.
Oh.
Oh, Or do you okay with going first, or y'all want somebody else to want? You want somebody else
No,
to
I ain't
warm up?
scared. No, I ain't scared. Let me
You know what I'm saying? Let's
Man,
go.
she ain't never scared. Oh
I ain't
shit!
never
Oh
scared.
shit! Right? All right. So just to let you know, you have 10 seconds to associate a song with the word that I give you. Now, because we normally get it from Elle Magazine, right? We put our own Queen Talk spin on it. So your song can be from a movie, a jingle, a commercial, all right? Anything that you could associate it with, just make sure you let us know where it came from and or who wrote it, all right? You ready?
Ooh. All right, I'm ready. I'm
Drum
ready.
roll. All right. So your word is feel.
I
Oh,
feel
that's so
good
easy.
from my head to my shoes.
Oh, now I got a new attitude.
I got
And
a
I
new
don't-
attitude. Look,
Look,
at first,
I
when you
thought about
said
Michael
I feel-
Jackson.
But wait, when she
Which
said
one?
I feel good, I thought she was about to say James Brown. But when she kept
Oh,
going on like
Look,
that,
I didn't
I
I
thought
didn't even
about
think
Michael
Right.
about that.
Jackson.
Look.
oh
I thought
look,
you. I thought
Janique
you about to
helped
say
you
the
out.
way you make me feel.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Oh,
Janique say, "How does it feel, D'Angelo?"
listen, I was trying to think about something on the sexual, and I couldn't think of.
You were overthinking it.
Over
All right. So I'm gonna
Mm.
give you another one just to make sure you hop back in there. All right.
All right.
All
Come
right.
on, let's go.
So since we're still talking about the sex topic, right? Virginity.
Round.
Yes, your word is body.
Your body's calling me.
Oh,
Oh,
not R. Kelly.
Here it comes.
Hey,
Hey, we
she
talking
put
about
on
taboo
Robert.
stuff. Yeah,
he
we talking
did. Hey, look, Ashley, look, she chimed in just a few minutes later. She said, I feel good all over. I feel
I feel
good.
good.
Yeah, that one. All right. Oh, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. All right, Mac, you ready?
Yeah, let's do this, man. Let's do this. Let's do it.
He definitely answered like a few seconds late. All right. So, Mac, your word is slide.
God damn.
Shut up, Tony.
Look, only song I could probably think about was slide is like Trick Daddy Slip and Slide. What's
Sing
the
it.
shit? Oh,
Somebody help him out in the comments, boys. Come on.
Come on.
shit.
Oh, you overthinking it.
Look,
The
that's the
time
only
is
thing I
running
can
out.
think.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm lost on the slide.
No, I gotta help y'all.
Slide, slippery slide.
But what about Cupid?
Slide to the left.
Beep.
Slide to the right.
Crisscross.
I never go out that lane though. I hate that song. I hate that song. No cap.
Oh man. All right, I gotta give you one more since you bombed so badly. All right.
My bad. I
Your
got you on this
word-
one.
You got me on this one. All right.
Yeah.
Your word, since we had this to come up tonight, is location.
Oh, so send me your location. Let's focus on communicate. Yeah.
All right.
There
Who
we
did
go.
that one?
Go.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, my bad on the side. I don't know. I'm still stuck on this.
Boy, you tell me who
Slip and
made that.
slide. Oh, the boy, the dude name is Khalid. That's how you say it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Tanya.
Uh-oh.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So we talked about this tonight too. All right. It's funny because of what the word is. All right. Your word is hot.
I want hot, steaming relations.
Oh,
No, I don't know who say that.
A pocket full of protection, huh?
Come on. Who made that? Somebody help her out in the comments.
I know who made that.
Say it.
I told you already. Now you say it.
What?
It's your turn. You did not say it.
I I don't know. That's
It's all
why I
right.
said
I'm gonna
that.
give your ass half of the points.
No,
You gave me half the answer.
hold on. Who's saying that? Down? I want high school
It's getting
relation.
hot in here.
No, not that one. That's
Oh,
Nelly. I wasn't
yeah.
talking about Nelly.
I
But
know,
yeah,
but
I
that
think-
part is that sample is in there. I want hot steaming relation. It's getting, baby. Don't try my.
I think that's
it's getting.
Is it Fit Boy Weeby?
No, you think about the other one. No.
I was talking about the bounce song.
Drop it. Yeah.
No.
That
yeah.
wasn't people are weepy though. It's
Yeah.
all right.
It wasn't you.
You want another one or you want to keep going?
Give me another one. Shit.
All
At least
right.
I had the song. I just don't know who
Yeah,
sang
the
it.
song.
You
She had
did.
the
You
song.
did. All
Yeah.
right. Your word is call.
Hold on. Shit. Damn. I just had one. Call him up and tell him what you
Man, that girl took us to church, man.
After hot steaming relations, call them up and tell them what you want.
That's what she gonna do. Call him up. That's the.
Call him right now.
I'm calling.
Call him up.
He on the main.
Him right
He
now.
on the main line.
Ashley,
Oh, now he on the.
Ashley
Oh,
said
call Tyrone.
you better
Yeah.
call
Call
Tyrone.
Tyrone. Thank you,
Look,
Fred. Thank you, Fred, for looking out.
Look,
for me.
look, I was
Talk
thinking
to me
about
on my
Usher.
cell
Like, you don't
phone.
have to call.
Yeah, it's okay, girl.
Yeah, that's all I want that way.
All right,
But yeah,
y'all
that's
know
funny.
how it go. Y'all gotta give me one.
Go ahead, let our special guest give you one.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep.
Come on, my medically
All right.
trained friend.
All right. So your word is
Drum roll.
Drum roll.
easy. Something easy. Sex.
Ah,
There you go.
ooh, I wanna sex you up
Ah,
all night.
you make me feel good.
Yes. Ooh. Man, that was all for one.
Yes.
That was a good
Man, let me tell you
Yes.
something.
So hold on, nurse. Let me
I
just give
get-
you a
I-
warning. She
hold
gonna
on.
get her background is music.
Oh,
He be-
yeah, I know.
Look,
Oh,
look,
you
look,
know.
Oh, this
I
one,
know.
look, Tanya, this one of my friends. She
Look, the funny
knows.
part about what all y'all introduced to that song
Lee,
by New
remember
Jack
Breathe?
City.
Yeah, what
Yep,
song?
I said, well, y'all all introduced to that song by New Jack City.
What song?
I want to sex you up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because I damn sure shouldn't have been watching that movie, but that's exactly how I know that song.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I said the wrong people. That's Color Me Bad, not
Yeah.
Color Me
All for
Bad.
One. Yeah.
It's definitely Color Me Bad. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So I fixed it. So you want to give me one more since everybody else got two? Or
Yeah.
y'all want to give me one more?
Yeah, y'all give her one. Give her a
Okay.
whole
All right.
one.
Yep.
Go ahead, Tanya.
No, you go, cause I gotta dig way before her time. Cause
I be knowing them too.
I need to find a song that's way
All
before
right.
her time.
Okay, well, listen. Virgin. Go ahead.
Mm.
Like a virgin. I got
I know
it.
you-
Like a virgin.
Yeah.
And all the
That's not the one I was talking about.
time, like a virgin.
I knew she was gonna.
I thought she was
get
gonna do
that
Michael Jackson. I'm just a virgin and I'm still a virgin. And I'm
Girl, Michael Jackson did not
Wait,
have that song
that's
talking
the
about
song.
he's still a
Michael
virgin.
Jackson did.
No, I think you're being creative with your lyrics.
Michael Jackson did say that.
No.
I'm still a virgin and I'm 33. No, that was the
That's the
Michael
remix,
Jackson.
man.
No, that's the parody they made.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Because you know, like they did a
Living color on the living, on the living color.
Oh.
Man, you
Oh,
Now that was funny, man.
Yeah.
She took that as a real song.
She really did. Now that's funny.
The name of that
Yeah.
song was Black
I
and White.
confess.
First
I
of all,
confess. I know the song Black and White, but I thought that was part of the lyrics.
All right, y'all. I want to thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. We had so much fun here tonight. All right. If y'all had fun like we had fun, definitely make sure you guys come back next week. All right. Each week keeps getting better and better and better. Now, remember, we gave you guys shout outs on last time because you guys definitely have been letting your voice be heard. You let us know in the comments. You definitely let us know with the likes, with the shares. And because of you, we couldn't be more grateful that you are helping us to grow as a channel, to grow as a business, and to grow as a podcast. As always, thank you guys for joining us. We will see you next time. Hey, see you next time. See you next time. Bye, y'all.